And we're back with Miles Edgeworth. Ace Attorney Investigations. Look at Edgeworth's rectangular neck.
My rectangular neck.
Ooh, you got me.
I don't ever say it like that again. Of course.
But of course.
Yes, and it's the report is correct, since there is only one correct explanation. If we suppose that Mr. Rell attacked first, then Mr. Faraday, who died instantaneously, would have been unable to kill Mr. Rell. Therefore, Mr. Rell must have stabbed Mr. Faraday after he was shot, and then they both died. That is the only explanation that makes logical sense.
Negating your opponent's ideas in order to prove your own theory. I see you've been studying, Franziska.
I just wanted to explain it to you as simply as possible, before you foolishly propose a foolish theory that only a foolish fool like you could.
How naive of you to believe that only your opinions are valid.
See, Franziska's a frequent user of Twitter.
And still expect to discover the truth that the crime scene offers you. Franziska, you've still got a ways to go.
What are you talking about? Are you saying there's a flaw in my logic?
Mr. Faraday died instantly. Oh, not instantaneously, when I was instantly. God, fucking make up your fucking mind. And the fact that he did is what gives rise to the contradiction in this scene. The contradiction here in this crime scene is...
The order the bodies fell.
Let me get this straight. What you are arguing is this. Mr. Faraday took the gun from his evidence bag and shot Mr. Rell. Then, the wounded Mr. Rell found an opportunity to take the knife and strike back.
Oh, whoops. Paused it. No.
Upon being stabbed, Mr. Faraday paused on the spot because Rob didn't realise that he paused his thing.
I hit the Z button, I'm sorry.
On the spot shortly after. And Mr. Rell died thereafter. If that's the case, then how do you explain this? Take a good look at the order in which the bodies are piled.
Oh, shit!
Mr. Faraday's body is lying on top of Mr. Rell's. Therefore, Mr. Rell must have died before Mr. Faraday.
Impossible!
Yes, I agree that it seems strange no matter what angle you approach it from. Which means that the real mystery behind this crime scene is that was solve his...
Objection! Shut up! No, not so fast, Miles Edgeworth!
Okay. Hello, Lang. What now?
I simply think that you ought to think a bit more outside the box, and that it's even clearer now that the incident started with Mr. Faraday's murderous intent.
She sure bounced back quickly. An explanation won't be enough this time. It's going to take some serious decisive evidence to prove her wrong.
Face off numero 2!
Literally part.
It was just chance that Mr. Faraday's body fell on top of Mr. Rell's. The two bodies fell into a pile, which indicates that they attacked each other at the same time. It really doesn't matter in the slightest that they fell in the opposite order. I feel like she would have had a better chance explaining that they died at the same time, as opposed to having attacked each other at the same time.
I just know that Franziska's explanation isn't absolutely correct. All I have to do is find a hole in her logic. Once I do, I can then present the evidence with that proves the contradiction.
I mean, we found the contradiction already. They can't have attacked each other at the same time, because to be in stabbing range means you need to be at point blank. And if Faraday fired the gun at point blank, there'd be gunpowder marks on Mac Rell's shirt, but there isn't any.
Well, just found Mr. Faraday's body fell on top of Mr. Rell's. The two bodies fell into a pile, which indicates that they attacked each other at the same time, which they didn't.
Press this, because there's no specific information.
What do you mean by they attacked each other at the same time?
I assume Mr. Faraday had the two different weapons in his hands. He made to attack Mr. Rell while holding both the knife and the revolver. And then, after Mr. Faraday fired the gun, Mr. Rell grabbed the knife. What?
It's trying to be a real solid snake, right? In because he's got the knife and the gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, the CQC gun.
Mr. Rell grabbed the knife as he was falling and stabbed Mr. Faraday. That is how Mr. Rel wound up on the bottom with the Faraday on top. But then...
Wound.
Oh, sorry.
Wound.
Wound up. That's fine. Anyway.
I mean, he was wound up.
This still doesn't work because Macrel is face down. At close range, that is more than possible.
You can't be in face-down attack position, there's only face-down presents position. Yes, it's possible, but... I drew the day they invented the face-down attack position.
Well, if you have any other ideas, then show me what you've got!
Oh, I will. I will. And to that extent, I'd like for you to append what you said to your statement. Testimony. Haha.
I don't see any point to that, but as you please.
Well, last time I did this,
The complicated is they attacked each other at the same time from close range, and therefore that is a contradiction because...
The gun, the handgun says he must have been killed from a far right way. So you believe they killed each other at close range? Sorry, but that's impossible. Just as it is written on the crime scene notes. The firing of the handgun did not leave a gunpowder burn on Mr. Rel's clothes. Therefore, Mr. Rel and the gun... Rob.
This fucking thing is taking forever to get to the point.
Must have been separated by a distance of at least 2 or 3 yards. I was wondering why you were delaying. Yes, this is by far the biggest contradiction. The two bodies are piled up on each other, yet the gun was fired from a distance. I like how Lion Cold is playing, yet nobody's lying, they're just trying to figure out what the fucking truth is. And there being no chance that Mr. Rel moved that far after being shot, that leaves only one possible explanation.
To be fair, the crime scene is lying to him. What a completely foolish line of foolish thought from a thoroughly foolish fool! If I'm not right, then the world is wrong! I'm joking. Then who was it that made the first move with the intent to kill, huh? Who?
What were you about to say?
What?
So if he's not right, then the world is wrong.
Well, you were trying to say something, you kind of you spazzed out there for me for a second.
I mean, it came out fine for me.
You sound like... That's what it sounded like to me. Like when he was like, when he says, I'm not right.
I mean, I heard it and I repeated it.
Yeah.
Fair enough, George, but...
Yeah,
The person that attacked first with murderous intent, who would that be? Here in this room, contradictions appear no matter which man we claim attacked first. First, there can only be one explanation. There was a third person here.
Lying coldly replays.
Which makes no sense because we're not being lied to again. It was that third person who killed both Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rel.
To be fair, in this case, the third person would have been the one to concoct the lie.
But he can't, he's not lying because he's not here to lie. He or she. And set their bodies to make it look like it was a double murder. That third person is the real culprit.
Where's Edgeverse? There's just one thing you're missing.
Evidence, correct?
Exactly. Everything you've said up until now is nothing but a story played out in your head. However, this is where the real test begins. Huh! Could you prove that there was a third person involved in this crime?
Of course.
Oh god.
If the third person was here, that fact would resolve that glaring contradiction. To prove that this is all in a setup made to look like they killed each other, I'll present it, and I'd bear out a final piece of the puzzle that's not yet in place. What is the piece of evidence that proves that there is a third person involved?
Maybe this?
I presume. Is that? There's something else that works. Of course, it must be the bag, because the bag seems weird.
I mean, it's either the bag or it's the handgun.
I think it's the... I think it's the
I
bag.
think it'd either be the gun or the body, because you're trying to prove that. What's it called? What are you trying to prove?
We're trying to prove that there was a third person in the room.
Well, the third
I already
person was...
explained the gunpowder thing, right?
Yeah, we've explained the gunpowder thing.
You're getting. I think the
That's the
bag.
pen.
Well, the pen went too much. I think it's the bag. Like, why does the bag have Faraday's blood on it?
True.
Like, all of a sudden.
Yeah, that's true. Because Faraday's didn't bleed that much, or something like that.
Okay.
Well, then, let's just try the bag first of all.
Well, the music stopped, so that worked.
I'm slightly lagging for some reason. 1 sec, I'll be right back.
I guess we'll just wait for him.
I'll return.
Okay.
The gun in Mr. Faraday's hand and the plastic bag with his blood on it. You feel like a third person.
Whoa.
We represented either the gun or the bag, I guess.
It sounds like you're trying to eat your mic.
What?
Like
One sec.
The mic quality isn't coming through properly.
Okay, 1 second.
I mean, don't take too long. I'll just carry on. I can barely hear you.
1 sec. And now?
Try now. Try voice the line.
These two items point to the presence of a third person.
That's fine. Also,
Recall Detective Gumshoe's testimony.
There's no way the old time, but I didn't hear a single peep of a struggle.
when we turned out that Gumshoe was just listening to his iPod.
What?
Sorry, Case, what?
If there wasn't a struggle in this room, then there shouldn't be any plastic bags on the ground. Meaning that someone else must have deliberately scattered them around. Do you not see the possibility in this? Disregarding the gun for a moment, there's a high probability that other blood spatter when a knife is used on a person. If the culprit held the knife with the plastic bag around it, they could have used the bag to catch any blood spatter when they withdrew from the knife. Then, by spreading a few more plastic bags around, mixing the blood in with them, and arranging the room to make it like there was a struggle between the two, they were able to conceal their presence.
Ah!
Taking notes.
It's the bad.
Too bad.
Iffy?
Looks like we're still got a long way to go in this investigation.
Yes.
Objection.
You said it twice. Oh no, it's the judge! And he looks mad! Look at his heavy breathing.
Fucking swole.
He's ready to fuck a bitch up.
What the X up with you, pal?
I'm gonna lay the smack down on you.
Mr. Bad, I advise you to place Detective Gumshoe under arrest.
What?
Put me into this.
Ha! Looks like you're not man enough to discipline your own subordinates.
Don't you dare.
That detective claims he was there, standing in front of the door the entire time. But I have it on good authority that it was all a giant lie.
What?
Miss Yu, I ask that you please explain that last statement.
I'll let His Honor explain it himself.
Oh no, watch out.
George, let's go!
I saw it with my own eyes, I tell you. During the recess, there was a period of time where there was no one in the hallway. What? Bruh.
See, Mr. Bad? So I ask you, why would a detective who was supposedly doing his job the whole time want to fabricate such a lie?
Gumshoe, did you kill Faraday?
Did you put your name in the goblet of fire?
Did you put your name in the car fire?
No. Of course not, sir.
It appears that the one who sets this whole crime scene up is a detective, which basically renders his testimony a complete lie and wholly invalid. It looks like your perfect logic has just come tumbling down, Miles.
No, it has. We just proved that someone else killed the two. If anything, Edward's logic is not completely gone.
Struggle problem. If Gumshoe was not there, he couldn't opine on whether or not there was a struggle. Edgeworth's entire theory hinges on the fact that there is no struggle.
I suppose.
Yeah, but he literally said someone else must have fucking killed him. Look, someone else. It looks like he fucking killed him.
Yeah, but to get to that line of logic, he needed to prove that there was no struggle.
I just feel like they're both just fucking lost.
It's fine, let's just go. Yeah.
Like the tree thing. How can she prove there was a struggle or not?
George repeating this line for the 4th time now.
I was in the way the whole time, but I didn't hear a single peep of a struggle for the 4th time.
Was that statement really a lie?
Detective Gumshoe is now suspected in the murder of 2 men. Spit out the truth or so help me out, bitch. That be back to fucking mall cop duty.
I haven't lied to no one, sir. Honest. I really was there, and in the hallway the whole time.
Is that too bad? I asked you please not act without my permission. After all, I am the one that's heading up this investigation, am I not?
Talk like you know what's going on, boy.
But he does know what's going on.
I'm gonna break that finger.
All I want to do is run this investigation perfectly.
Perfection is the only wish of a disciple of Von Karma, after all.
Therefore, before we take Detective Gumshoe into custody, I'd like to set the record straight on something.
And what's that?
What should I ask Detective Gumshoe about? What was his
How my
motive?
day was?
I'd say it'd be the hallway.
Why wasn't he in the hallway? He said he was in the hallway the entire time.
Why
It's the motive for the
wasn't in
murder.
hallway?
He has no motive to kill 2 men.
I mean, it's just there are 2. We have to ask him about his motive.
Yeah. I suppose the one thing I'd like to clarify is Detective Gumshoe's motive for committing this crime.
Motive? Well. Gumshoe! Got a grudge against Faraday or anything?
Look at his fucking eyes.
Bring it out of me, boy!
His eyes are fucking bulging out of his head.
I'll fuck you up real good.
No, sir, not me. Not a single bad thing against Mr. Faraday, sir.
Is that a fact?
Objection!
Look at me in the eyes, boy!
You really have a problem with lying, don't you, Detective Gumshoe?
No, I'm telling you, I am not lying.
I'm gonna fuck you
The
up.
more unnatural you act, the more unsuspicious you become, you know. If you want a motive, Edgeworth, I have one for you right here.
Could you please share it with the class? However, be forewarned, I will not hesitate to object to flights of fancy. Here's all I'm interested in is the perfect explanation.
You just goes, okay, well here's, and then you just hears Joe yell at the top of his lungs, objection!
Yeah, you presented 2 seconds too slow.
You're serious, aren't you? Fine, you amuse me, so I'll humor you with a little courtroom practice. Let's do this.
Leroy! No, sorry.
About a week ago.
That caught me off guard.
Edge kiss.
It was about a week ago.
Objection!
I saw the detective get chewed out by a livid Faraday in front of the precinct. He stood there, super pale, as Mr. Faraday yelled, "That's a salary cut for you, you nitwit!"
Good impression.
A brand new detective suddenly getting his salary cut? That's reason enough for a grudge. Well, how's that for the perfect explanation?
Ha!
You fool! This man is getting his salary cut 5 times a week. You really think he cares about that?
Everyone says, how
Every
could
kill,
you?
every... You've
Everyone,
killed every man in the block by now.
everyone says, how could you, Gumshoe? Not how are you, Gumshoe?
Hey, fuck you! Holy are you Gumshoe?
You totally misunderstand me, pal.
It's always what the fuck, Gumshoe, not how the fuck, Gumshoe. Jesus.
How the fuck you do that?
This is pretty much obvious. Like, Gumshoe, if Gumshoe wanted to kill someone over having his salary cut, Edgeworth would be fucking dead 7 times over. You'd fucking see Gumshoe walk into the fucking pearly gates of heaven with a fucking sawed-off shotgun just to blast Edgeworth again.
And he fights through hell just to do it.
No matter how mad I get, I could never hold a grudge.
What is it against a 12-year-old trying to steal his man?
Unless it's against some ninja girl.
Quiet. Can't trust anything you say.
You sus.
Oh, fucking.
You sus.
Sir.
Why acting sus?
There's nothing wrong with the motive she proposed per se.
That is just like beige kind of sus.
There are some gaps in her logic that need to be filled. Also, where's her fucking evidence that this happened? It's just conjecture. Nice. Miss Yu's perfect explanation.
It's an explanation, to be fair.
Mealsby sounds perfect after all. And you're wearing... What the fuck even is that colour?
About a week ago.
It's not even blue. It's not blue. It's not green. It's some weird...
Faraday in
Shane
front of
in
the
the middle.
precinct. He stood there, super pale, as Miss Faraday yelled, "That's a salary
And why
cut
get the
for you,
same
you know
shirt
that."
and tie colour as Godot before he became Godot?
A brand new detective suddenly getting his salary cut, that's reason enough for a grudge. Well, how's that for the perfect explanation?
It's time to press.
Yeah, I feel like there needs to be some context for this.
You nitwit. You just stood there, watching this unfold in front of you.
Yeah, I have to say it was really enjoyable too. But that's why when I saw Detective Gumshoe earlier, I knew to steer clear of him.
No way.
You laughed at me.
I thought it was because I had something stuck on my face.
But you do!
What have I got stuck on my face?
Faster.
Let's start with your eyes, nose, mouth. Oh, and those ridiculous eyebrows.
I want to hear that from you, fucking.
Meanwhile,
forehead.
Gumshoe's eyebrow action on
Mama
fucking
said these were
Maximus.
nice eyebrows.
Play the tic-tac-toe on that fucking forehead.
Oh man, messing with your head is just too much fun.
Miss Yu, if you don't mind, I'd like to return to your testimony now.
Sure, why not?
I swear to God, I'm already done with this case and I haven't started. Press. To cut a new detective's salary right off the bat like that.
Must be me.
Who would do such a thing?
I'm not really familiar with the way you guys relate, but is that a common practice?
For Gumshoe, yes.
Speaking of cutting my salary, didn't you threaten to do that to me earlier too?
Maybe.
It's only natural to cut a worthless detective's salary down to their actual worth. My father could even fire anyone, new or old, with a snap of his fingers.
He's literally Thanos.
Do you think that maybe that's the reason enough for detectives to hate you people?
Well, I guess you really shouldn't cut people's pay.
That's bad. Don't tell me Mr. Von Karma cut your salary earlier.
Press.
You call your explanation perfect.
Is it not to your liking?
Unfortunately for you, it's not just my. It's not. It's just not up to my standards.
Oh, is there something you want me to clarify in that case?
What should I do? Should I raise an objection?
Yes.
Alright, if you could clear this one thing up for me. Motive for killing Mr. Rel.
Yeah. She's explained Faraday's death, but...
Not Rel's. I understand Detective Gumshoe's potential motive for killing Mr. Faraday. However, what about his motive for killing Mr. Rel?
His motive for killing Rel? Like I would know.
There's no nuclear motive for both the murders.
Yeah, she was going out of her way to establish a motive for Faraday. If she can't establish one for Rel, then that's just fucking dumb.
I'm pretty sure the obvious easy one is Mr. Rel saw him do it, so, you know, killed him too. That this incident would have occurred, wouldn't you agree?
Wouldn't Rel hate Faraday? So wouldn't Rel be like, yo, I didn't see shit?
Yeah.
Fair. I saw nothing, I heard nothing, I did not even get up this morning.
You didn't even get arrested this morning?
Is there anyone else who might have had a grudge against either of the two men? Or should we look into that ourselves?
Oh, in that case, I have absolutely no idea.
Okay, bitch. What? But that's impossible, she must know something.
Wait. Can you please not glare at me like that? It makes me laugh.
God, didn't even do anything and you're already laughing away.
Well, anyway, the way I see it, as long as he had a motive to kill one of the two, this crime would have played out the way it did anyway.
Oh? Would you care to explain your logic? And this time, please try to provide a truly perfect explanation.
Perfect this, perfect that. Stop being so uptight, or is that a requisite trait for being a fond karma?
Literally, perfection is underneath the fond karma name.
Miles Edgevas, I demand that you shut this rude woman up.
You're the one with the riding crop. I wish you'd both just be quiet for 1 second. Could you both be quiet for 5 minutes?
Do not be yourselves for 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Oh well, I guess I'll just have to explain to you kids. Let's go.
Oh great. Press and number 2, that should Google it.
There's no one out there with a motive to kill both Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rel.
Okay.
All you really have to establish is that someone had a grudge against one of the two men. Mr. Rel, who happened to be there, became a witness to Mr. Faraday's murder. Therefore,
Yes.
he was killed out of necessity and set up to look like they had killed each other.
Yeah, that's probably what they were going to go for. I wonder if that's where it's really true. Is there no one out there with a grudge against both men? I should take another hard look at the evidence for this morning's case. Well, it's obvious. Oh, so I like how they're making it even more obvious. The second KG8 incident, as people are calling it, involving an embassy staff member, and the two men who both wound up as suspects in the case. Is there someone else I'm overlooking who is somehow related to them? I wonder who it might be.
Man, I can't imagine who. Now we don't
It
even
might
have
be
to go
Mr.
to any other statements, because we just have to fucking throw this at it!
Hello, bitch tits. Miss Yu, I believe there's someone you overlooked in making your statement.
Are they a bitch and do they have tits?
Most bitches do have tits, but yes. However, is it because you'd rather not bring this person up?
What do you mean?
We are looking for someone who with a reason to kill both Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rel. I can give at least one person that fits the bill. He was the suspect in the original KGA incident, and member of the Kodopian Embassy staff, Mr. Manny Kochin. Oh. Not the angle I was going for, but okay. That's right, the very man who came to visit you earlier out in the hallway. The man who killed a member of the Kodopian Embassy staff, Mr. Rel, and the man who was the lead prosecutor of the KGA incident, Mr. Faraday. Are you telling me that the Coaster Kochin had no reason at all to kill both these men?
Well, I suppose he might have had a reason or two.
You covered for me, pal.
Your salary's still getting cut.
If you're not such a bad guy, wait, what'd you say?
Don't get ahead of yourself. You're still a suspect, make no mistake about that. The perfect evidence, the perfect testimony. These are the only things I wish to hold.
And
as you can see, my hands are bound, so I'm not a happy man.
But I didn't do it.
Tell that to the judge, who's standing right over there.
Hello.
You will stay under my authority and go investigate Mr. Manny Kochin for me. And remember, I will not be very forgiving should any of this leak out.
Iffy.
Got the badass music playing now.
That's theme. As if you're not in it.
You see?
I guess he's not. You want to investigate Kochin? You just be wasting your time.
And why is that?
Kochin was up in the viewing gallery, watching the trial. Or so I was told. Every cop in this place has been keeping an eye on the guy since he arrived.
Nah, motherfucker.
Since the only real suspect we have is still Detective Gumshoe.
I suppose so.
No way, come on, Detective Ben, you gotta believe me, sir. I really was in that hallway the whole time, sir.
Where's the big gun?
I never took a single step into the room, sir.
He did say he had to go at some point.
Fair enough. Is he in
But
call?
I think he would have left call. No, he's not left call, but I don't know. Maybe he went to the bathroom.
Okay.
I'm right here.
Oh. Then why did you say you're lying, buddy?
Because I fucking said I'll be right back, and then I just came back.
Literally no one caught it.
Hey, my fault you guys are fucking deaf.
Alright, you can take
Is
it.
it? Are you saying there was someone else who passed through the hallway?
No, no, Max.
No, there was no one else, sir.
Answer me, boy. Why should I believe you didn't do it, huh? Answer me. Answer me, boy.
That has got a very then shut the fuck up face. That is what he called to be foolish detective. Standing right in front of a crime scene all over by himself. It's as good as a confession of guilt.
I have to admit it's a bit strange. Most criminals will fabricate some sort of lie to escape their crimes. And if that detective really wants to prove that he is innocent, you'd think he would at the very least offer I spaced out while on duty or the like.
Come on, Gumshoes. Time for interrogation.
Detective Bed.
And we'll see you guys next time on Miles Edgeworth, Ace Attorney Investigations. See you around.